Hey guys, Carl from Purple Moose Plays. Today I'm going to be taking a preview look at Ancient Realm, one of the two new upcoming games that are going to be hitting Kickstarter soon from designer Stephen Aramini and publisher Button Shy Games. This is a designer-publisher combo that you're almost definitely aware of with their work previously on games like Circle the Wagons and the Opolis series, Sprawlopolis, Agropolis, Naturopolis, and all of the connective Combopolis, Ultimopolis stuff. This is also a designer that I'm very familiar with and fond of from games like Groves, which is an interesting bag builder that he made, and more recently, Flip Town, the really awesome sort of Western-themed flip and write game that had just hit Kickstarter last year. So definitely a designer I'm interested in, and of course I'm always interested in Button Shy's solo games, and this here is a Button Shy's solo game from Stephen Aramini that is going to be sort of a civilization builder game, resource management, building wonders, and sort of developing a civilization with the hope to obviously score the most points at the end of the game. Disclaimer quickly, this is a preview prototype copy of the game, which means I was given advanced access by the publisher, but as always, I will do my best to give my honest opinion on the game. With all that said, let's head down to the table to see how it plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. Before we get into setup, I just want to mention that this is a print and play prototype copy of this game. And everything in here is something that I have printed out on a normal printer. It's just a sleeved, two pieces of paper with a regular card sandwiched in between. So the quality of these is not going to be, obviously, sort of final quality of the game. So I just wanted to point that out. And it does mean we might get a bit of glare off of the cards because they are sleeved. So I do apologize for that in advance. With that said, let's go ahead and set up the game. To set up a game of Ancient Realm, begin by placing out the 4 resource cards, and you're going to set them to the value that has this sort of white border around the edge. So we're going to start with 3 coins, 1 stone, 1 grain, and 1 wood. Like that. And then you're going to sort the rest of the cards into district cards and wonder cards, keeping them in separate piles, giving them a shuffle, and placing them down on the table face down. Now, the instructions do say to place them off to the side into piles with a column of available things to buy, but just to make everything fit on screen sort of as zoomed in as possible, I'm going to create a second row here of the available buildings, and then we'll build all of our stuff up here at the top of the screen. So we'll place the district cards over here, and then we'll place the wonder cards over here, and then at the start of the game we're going to be placing out 2 of each. So I'll place out 2 of these here, and 2 of these right here, like that. Let's spread these out a little bit just to give us a little bit more space. And just like that, we are all set up for gameplay. So Ancient Realm is going to play out over a series of turns until all of the cards from both of these piles, including these 4 in the initial market, have been either placed into our tableau or discarded from the game, at which point we will be scoring our tableau. And the way that we're going to score the tableau is going to be based on these purple scoring conditions on the cards that we're playing. Anything that is visible at the end of the game will be scored as printed. So let me go ahead and explain the 4 cards that are showing, sort of what the difference between these 2 cards is, and then how a normal turn works, and then we'll go ahead and get into gameplay. So on the district cards and on sort of one edge of the wonder cards, we're going to see a variety of different sections or districts or areas of the district that are referred to in the directions as blocks. And there are sort of 3 main types of block, and we can see all 3 of those types right here on this card. The first type is going to be a resource type, and that's going to be our stone, our grain, and our wood. So in this case, this is a quarry that produces stone. The second type are these sort of civilians, that are either going to be the blue one like you see here, or the red ones like you see here. And then finally, the third space, or the third block type, are these mines, and this is going to be where we produce our gold. So all of the blue and red civilian spaces are going to have some kind of unique effect. So for example, the woodsman that I just showed you will double the amount of stone in my storage. The king is going to give me 4 coins if we also have the queen in our realm. The supplier here adds 1 to each empty storage card that I have. And this merchant over here is going to allow me to trade 1 of any resource for 3 of another resource. The other type of card that we see are the wonder cards. And the wonder cards, as I explained, are going to have one edge that works just like the district cards. But the other side of that card is going to show a wonder. And that wonder is going to cost some resources to build, but will also give you endgame scoring and then some kind of bonus ability. So for example, this one gives me the bonus ability that when I activate a quarry, it will gain an additional stone. The statue of Zeus right here says that I can hire crowns. Crowns are the red civilians for free. And I'll explain what hire means in just a second as we now get into sort of how a turn works. On my turn, I'm going to basically either choose one of the districts or one of the wonder cards to add into my tableau. A district card I can add in for free. A wonder I'm going to need to pay whatever the resource cost is to build that wonder card into my tableau. And when we are adding a card, the first card we're simply going to place into the tableau. But after that, we can always place adjacent to that card on either side, or cover up any number of blocks in the previously placed cards. And covering up the blocks is how we're going to activate whatever those locations or whatever those things are doing. So for example, if I want to take these 2 coins, I need to cover that section, and then I will instantly get those 2 coins from the mine. If I want to use the woodsman to double the stone in my storage, I would have to cover the woodsman in order to do that action, which means once I've done it, I won't be able to do it again. In addition, everything but the mine is going to be a single coin cost in order to activate that. So I am allowed to cover something up and not make use of it, but if I want to activate whatever the ability is that's printed there, I will need to pay 1 coin. Unless, of course, like we saw on the statue of Zeus, I get something that says I can do it for free. So here it says I can hire crowns for free. If I had already built this, I can cover and activate any red civilian without paying that 1 coin cost. And wonders are going to work exactly the same way. We're going to place them over top of other cards or next to other cards as well, except that a wonder can never be built on top of. The wonders will always be visible and will always be on the top at the end of the game. But we also then need to pay attention because the mines are going to be how we generate coins for the most part. But the mines will also be generating endgame points at the end of the game. So we want to leave as many of those uncovered as possible so that we score lots of points at the end of the game. So that's basically it for the flow of the game. But 2 more things. Number 1, after I place a card into my tableau, I can then choose to refill that from either the district or the wonder deck. So if we want more wonders, we can add a wonder. If we want more districts, we can add a district on that end of turn phase. But also I want to pay attention to the backside of both of these decks. The backside of every wonder is exactly the same. And you can see that what it says is, I can abandon an unbuilt wonder to gain 1 resource or 2 coins. And it says I can take that wonder from either the market or from the top of this deck. Which means if for some reason I need resources or gold that I don't have from normal actions, I can simply throw one of those cards out of the game in order to do that. Over here, you'll see that each of these district cards is going to have a special ability or some kind of event that's happening. And these are going to be different on each of these cards. So whatever card is showing at the top is going to give me some special ability based on the event. So right now we have a bustling market opening, which means that I can trade 1 coin for 1 coin for 1 resource up to 2 times per turn, which is special because you'll see the last thing that we can normally do is I can normally trade 2 coins for 1 resource of any type. So while this is happening, I can trade 1 coin for 1 resource of any type, which means those resources are getting cheaper, which means I might want to do that to start getting resources in order to build our wonders. So that's basically it. Let's go ahead and get into gameplay, and any confusion that may have arisen should hopefully work itself out. So looking at my cards, I need 2 wood and 2 grain for the lighthouse. I have 1 of each. And I need 2 wood, 2 stone, and 1 grain for the statue of Zeus. So I need to work on getting some resources. Now, using this event, I could immediately get the resources and build the lighthouse. But I might try to generate some stuff naturally on my own first. So I think we might try to place out, I don't know. At this point, it doesn't really mean anything, because if I trade 1 coin for a resource, it's the same as covering up a space for a resource later on. So I think I'm going to simply go ahead and use 2 coins in order to buy 1 grain and 1 wood. And then I will instantly use both the 2 grain and the 2 wood to put the lighthouse into my tableau. And then we're going to replace. I don't have any coins, or I only have 1 coin left, so I'm not too worried about that event anymore. So let's go ahead and replace it with a district for now. All right, this district gives me a bishop that gives me 1 wild resource for each of the blue cards in my tableau when I play this. There's a mine, and this collector gives me 2 coins for every crown that I have in my tableau when I place that out. Also, this mine is scoring for buildings that are built adjacent to this mine. Then, I'm going to place out, remembering my lighthouse gives me additional stone, additional stone 1 when I activate a quarry. Then I'm going to place out, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we're going to place this one out right here next to that card, which isn't going to do anything. But, but I could cover her to get 1. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. I'm going to cover her, which spends 1 coin, and it refills. It says add 1 to each empty storage card. Well, this gets 1, and this gets 1, and now because I paid that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that means that this also gets 1, which is nice. All right, then we're going to refill with a wonder because we only have 1 of them out right now. And I'm focused on this card here that's going to score me buildings adjacent to this wonder. And the reason I'm focused on this is I want to have a building on either side, and both of these buildings on the left side means I need another right side building to place on this side, but potentially I want to score that. Then, I only have 1 coin, which is sad because I'd love to be able to do that. So I think what I'm actually going to end up doing is I'm going to take this card here, and we're going to end up placing that one, but let's do it in order that I want to do, because we can activate any of these in any order. So I'm going to cover the mine and get 2 coins. Then I'm going to cover the quarry, spending 1 coin to get 1 stone. But my lighthouse gives me a 2nd stone, so I'm at 3. Then, finally, I'm going to spend 1 more coin to double the stone in storage. So this goes up to 6 now. Keeping in mind here now that 7 is the maximum stone. So I need to start finding ways to spend stone. Both of these buildings need 2 stone. Statue of Zeus says 2 wood, 2 stone, 1 grain. Colossus is 1 wood, 2 stone, 3 grain. I don't have a ton of grain though. And that goes like that. Then now I'm scoring 1 point per building, so I'm happy to have that there. We're going to place out another district. Wait a minute. No, we're not. Because if I leave this here, when building, I pay 1 less resource. Yeah, but I don't want to build yet. Hold on. That's okay. We're going to place out one building. And then I want to set it up so that I can place a building next to this mine. So I'm going to place that right there like that. And I want to keep this event, so I'm actually going to place out one more building. This might end up hurting me, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to build the statue of Zeus, which needs 2 wood, 2 stone, and 1 grain, but I have 1 less resource, so I'm only going to pay 1 wood. So that's 1 grain, 1 wood, and 2 stone. Gives me the statue of Zeus. And I'm going to build it here over these 3 so that that building is adjacent to there. Now, I only have 1 coin to pay. But watch this. I pay 1 coin to activate this collector, which gets me 2 coins for each crown. And there's 2 crowns that I have currently. So that gets me 4 coin. And then I'm going to pay 1 coin to get a 3 to activate grain. So I get 1 grain. And now the king says pay 1 coin to get 4 coins if the queen is in the realm. There is no queen in the realm, unfortunately, so that is wasted, but that's fine because I did want to cover that up like that. Means now the merchant can never be covered up, and this mine can never be covered up because there's only 2 between the wonders, and the wonders can never be covered, so that's going to stop that there. And I will be placing something here. But I want to put out a district there so we have some options. I wouldn't mind building the mausoleum this side. Means 2 wood and 2 stone. I've got plenty of stone. I need to find a way to get 2 wood. And do kind of it through the forest. I might as well do that. 1, 2. Yeah, I don't want to lose that. This one gets me 5 points if I have more blue than red at the end of the game, which is potentially something I can do because the Great Pyramids also score off of blue. And I like that because that's also 10 points. But I need that wood. Although the bishop is going to get me 1 resource for each blue that I have. You know what? I think I'm going to make a decision. And I'm going to get rid of the Colossus from this game. So I'm going to stick that up here. And for that I get a resource. So I'm going to get a wood for that. And then I am going to spend 2 coins to get 1 more wood. So I can spend 2 stone and 2 wood to build the mausoleum. We're just going to cover the bishop up. I want that mine there because we're scoring adjacent for that. Also, the Realm Unites, the current event that I have, says when activating blocks, I hire citizens for free. So I don't have to pay for this bishop. So we're covering that bishop. It says 1 resource for each blue. We've got 2 blue, so I get 2 free resources. And looking here, I've got 2 stone. Hold on a minute. I should replace that card before we do anything else, because that might change my opinions. You know what? Forget about that event. I'm going to place out this card here. The event now says if I activate any resource generation, I get an additional resource. Then, hold on. I didn't build that, so I still have my 4 stone, and I still have my 2 trees. Although, yeah, I'm changing my mind on that. I didn't spend those 2 coins for that. I did do that for 1 wood. Because now with this card, I'm going to place that adjacent like this. And then, but I don't have the resources yet. Well, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of another wonder. So let's put out a wonder and see if I care about it. 2 stones and 2 grain, 5 points. Plus it gets me points if I have multiple reds or blues in a single group. 3 points per red or blue in a single group. I don't care too much about that. I'm going to get rid of that card. 2, get 1 more wood. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to activate this. So we are going to spend that 2 stone and 2 wood, like I said originally, to build this. But hold on, before we do that, I don't care about this event. When I build, gain 2 coins. Excellent. Okay, so we are building this here. I'm going to spend 3 coins to activate all of those. Yes. So we're going to spend 1 coin to get a wood. We're going to spend 1 coin to get a free resource for each of my people. And I am going to get, let's see, for this pyramid, I need 2 green, 3 stone, and 2 grains. So I need 1 of each. And look at this. Farmer, bishop, and merchant are 3 blue, so I get 3 resources for that. So I'm spending my last coin to get 1 stone, 1 grain, and 1 wood. And then, oh sorry, no, that was the second coin. The last coin is to activate this middle one, which is doubling the grain. So I go from 2 now to 4 grain, and that gets covered up. So now this building is adjacent to that mine. I get extra grain when activating grain. And if I have more than 2 crowns or 2 of these blue guys, I'll get 5 points. So I'd like to end the game with 1 more blue if I can. I'm going to leave this here because, well, first off, I get 2 coins when I build based on that. And I'm going to replace it with a wonder. Hanging Gardens gets me 9 points. Lets me hire blue for free. Again, I'd like to keep 1 extra blue. He's safe. I need at least 2 blue to score that. So let's see what happens. I'm building a pyramid, for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right, so I spend 2 wood, 1, 2, 3 stone, and 2 grain to build that pyramid. Yes. Now from now on, if I build a building, I gain resources or money, but that's not going to matter for now. But I do get 2 coins based on that. So 3, 4. My last wonder is 3 wood, 1 stone, and 2 grain. So I need 4 more resources. And I only need 1 stone, and wood is here. So I can get 1 wood here, and get 1 grain here, but that doesn't help me. I can buy 2, well, if I get a wood here, I can buy 1. So that's 2 wood. I think we may be in trouble, but not necessarily. Yeah, I'm going to play this one here. I'm not activating. I might as well do it there because we don't care about the grain. I'm not spending coin to get that grain. So that goes there. Hold on. Before I do that, let's see what comes out here. Sorry. Stone. Points. 2 points for building adjacent to building. Well, that's adjacent to that, and that's adjacent to that, so that's 4 points. Stone costs a coin. Yeah, all right, we're going to do this then. I'm going to play that one, not paying for it. Then, I'm going to play... No, I got to do it the other way around. This one first, not paying for it. Then we're going to cover here, getting the coins from this mine and not paying for that wheat either. No, I can't do that either. Because I need that quarry and I need that forest. Okay, then we're doing this. That, not paying for it. Then, this is going to cover the quarry and the queen. The quarry gets me 1 stone for 1 coin. And this one would get me 2 resources if the king is in the realm, but there's no king. We already covered him up, so that goes there. Yes. Then I need stuff. If I cover that 5, I should be able to build that. So I'm going to have to do that. All right, so we're covering everything, which is sad. Because, oh wait, I get a second stone, not that it matters, but when I activate stone, I get stone. This guy is free. Hold on, she was free. I know I didn't use her anyway, never mind. Grain. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Anyway, we're covering the whole thing. I'm going to add 2 coins, 4, 5. Then we're going to activate for free, doubling him, which doesn't mean anything, but we get 7. No, yes, it does mean something. 5. I spend the 1 coin for that to get one of these, and now we double 4 to 8, which gets me 7, because 7 is max. Okay, good. So that's covered all the way. Unfortunately, because now I don't get that 5 points for extra blues, but that's okay. Because then we're going to spend 6, 5 is 1 resource for 3, so we spent 4 to get 2 wood. And now I can spend my 3 wood, 1 stone, and 2 grain to build the hanging gardens on top of here. And I need more than 1 blue, yeah, to get that scoring. I don't score anything here because I don't have any red out on the board. So we're going to do this. I'm spending 2 coins to get 1 resource. It doesn't matter, but at the end of the game I get 1 point for 2 resources and 1 point for 3 coins. So if I cover here, I don't care about the grain, but I will get 2 coins. So 1, 2 puts me back to 3 coins. And that there is the end of the game, so we go ahead and get into scoring. So we start first, 2 per abandoned wonder. I've got 2 abandoned wonders, so we start with 4 points. Then, if I have more than 2 crowns or 2 blue, I do have 2 blue, I get 5 points. This one I'm not 100% sure on. I'll check in later and leave a comment below. It says more than 2. I don't know if 2 is more than 2, but let's assume that it is. Then, mausoleum, 5 points. Then, 4 points per adjacent building to this mine. I've got 2 of them, so that's 8 points. Then, 7 points for the statue of Zeus. 1 point per building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points for the lighthouse. 10 points for the Great Pyramid, plus 1 per blue is 12. 2 points per adjacent building to another building. This one's adjacent to that one, and that one's adjacent to this one. It says per building, and there's 2 buildings adjacent to each other, so that's 4 points. And then finally, the Hanging Gardens gets me 9 points, for a total score of 64 points. And then from the rule book, there is a sort of scoring threshold to check. And looking at that score, we just barely didn't make it to the next level. With a 64, we get a ranking of noble. Now, assuming that that 5 points was right for having 2 blue, if not, then we would have scored 59 and have been respectable. So that's basically it for the game. Again, because this is a prototype copy that I did print out myself, I can't comment on component quality, but I can take a look at the sort of artwork and design of the cards in general. Overall, these resource cards, I like them that they are very easy to understand. They work very, very, very well. But I almost wonder, with all of this extra empty space, if the numbers could be a little bit bigger. Not that they need to be, just that they could be. And the colors are kind of No, never mind. I was going to say that the colors are a bit much, but the colors match the colors of the things, the buildings that are generating them. So I guess in that case, it's helpful and it makes sense. So I will take back any comment on the color. But again, all of the iconography is very easy to understand. It's clear, it makes sense, and it looks very nice. As for the artwork on the card, it's a sort of very sketch kind of style. And in my opinion, for the building art, so we take a look at some of these locations, the wonders, the buildings. I really, really like the way this looks as far as the buildings are concerned. It definitely sort of brings this sort of ancient text kind of feel to the game. Looking on the back of the district cards, very nice sort of cityscape with the statue. I really, really love the design or the artwork of these sort of buildings and location art. Where I feel a little bit less thrilled by the artwork is the character art. And you can see a couple of those characters here. It's not that it's bad, they're very nicely done, but there's just something slightly off. They almost look a little bit unfinished to me, but from far away at a quick glance, everything does fit sort of stylistically. So there's no complaining about anything. It looks nice. I'd be very happy to have this game looking the way that it looks. There's just something slightly off about the character, the human, the people look in the artwork to me. But again, this is just a little bit of a nitpick from me and nothing dramatically all that important. Finally, the wallet for this game. I don't have the wallet because, again, this is all printed by me, but I will throw a picture of the wallet up here in the top left corner. This is another one of those sort of brown leather looking wallets, which thematically does sort of fit with the theme of this ancient civilization kind of game. But more importantly, the logo for this game, I really, really, really dig what they've done with this. It just looks really, really cool. I love how the L is a column with sort of a flame or a torch on top of it. It does really invoke what the theme or what the goal of this game is. So I'm very, very happy with the design of the logo. I'm never a huge fan of the speckledy sort of brown leather looking wallet just because to me it's less interesting. But again, it was probably the right choice for this one, and I think it looks really cool anyway. So that's basically all I've got to say about the components. Meet me back up top and I'll let you know what I think about the game itself. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. So here we are, second video from me within this last week, second game from Stephen Aramini, second solo game from Stephen Aramini, and both hitting together, both coming from Button Shy on this Kickstarter campaign that starts tomorrow if you're watching this as this goes live. Can he hit magic twice? If you watched the last video, River Wild, it did break my brain, it did hurt me in some small ways, but ultimately I really did enjoy the game, and the more I play it, the more I've been enjoying it. Can he possibly have two games that are fun at the same time coming out at the same time? Absolutely, yes, he can, because here's another one that I also really, really, really do enjoy. So let's take a look at this game. Ancient Realm is effectively a civilization builder game in 18 cards. And the first thing you're going to say is, can you really do civilization building in 18 cards? And the answer is, look, there's no tech trees, there's no, building off of things that you've done in the past to do things in the future. Well, to the most part, we'll talk on that in a minute. There's certainly no military, there's no conquering, there's no expansion of location or movement of any kind. So yes, if you're looking for a big Civ game, clearly it's not here, but this is 18 cards. And I feel like they've done quite a great job in building a civilization game using only these 18 cards. So let's take a look at sort of the core mechanisms and how they sort of tie into the theme. And the first main core mechanism of this game is sort of the resource management thing. You're using gold, you're using resources, and ultimately those resources are spent to build wonders in your civilization. But there are a couple of different interesting ways that this works out. And the first one is that we can simply, by placing cards into our civilization, meaning developing districts, we will find districts that are quarries or fields or forests, and we can send people out into those places to sort of go out there and take the resources and bring them back, and then we're going to use those resources to build these giant wonders in our civilization. But in order to make use of those locations, we're effectively paying someone 1 coin or 1 gold to go out and retrieve those resources for us. So that's one sort of change of gold into resources. But effectively, then we can spend 2 gold at any point to basically buy that resource, I guess, at market somewhere rather than collecting the resource ourselves. So there's this nice sort of resource balance or management of when do I use gold to transfer into resources? When can I go out into the world to gather these resources myself? And then how do I most efficiently use these resources to buy these or to build these wonders? Because in addition to that, we can always discard or basically scrap a wonder in order to bring in money or to bring in resources that then are used to build future wonders or future buildings in our civilization. So then there's another interesting idea, because basically these buildings, these wonders that we're building, are going to be the main point generating piece of the game. So for us to make a decision to throw one out of the game, to basically say, I'm never going to get those points so that I can get just a small amount more resource so that I can build something else, is an interesting sort of balancing act, or an interesting decision that, I'm going to get rid of this to do something else. I wish I could do both things, but ultimately I can't. So I have to pay attention to which is worth more, and so on. And because those wonders, in addition to scoring, are also going to give me some kind of ability, because as we're developing our civilization, we are building these wonders, we are growing our civilization, and therefore our civilization is growing new abilities that might allow me to harvest resources more efficiently, so I get 2 instead of 1 every time I go to one of those resource spots. It might start giving me value for more of citizens that I have in my town, or other kinds of combinations. It might make it so that I'm bringing in money, income, every time I build a new building in town. Maybe I'm supplying the builders to build these things and generating income to then build future wonders. So you do get a real flavor of growing your civilization by building these wonders, by starting off small, developing these resources or gathering these resources, slowly building income to then grow these big wonders that then give you powers and make your civilization more meaningful and more efficient at what they're doing, and giving you the ability to continue growing further. So that resource piece and that building piece absolutely does feel like a civilization builder. And then it ties into something more, because the other way that we're going to get, or the main way that we're going to be getting money in this game, is through these mines and through these civilians that we bring into our city. And the mines are interesting because I said that the wonders are going to be the sort of main scoring mechanism in the game. Well, the mines are going to be other scoring mechanism. The mines are going to score based on other goals, based on buildings that are adjacent to it, or buildings that we've discarded, or certain number of a certain color of civilian, or type of civilian, I should say, in my town or in my civilization. But the catch here is that if I use the mine as a mine to get money, I then don't score those points at the end of the game. So I have to balance, when is it worth taking money and when is it worth pushing to get as much stuff done so that I can score those points at the end of the game. And this is sort of that same balance we had of, when do I scrap a wonder in order to get the resources to build another. There's a lot of this idea in this game of, when do I sacrifice things in order to do something else? How much can I push to get everything done, and how much do I have to sort of balance or focus on which things I can sacrifice to get the least sort of detriment to my civilization in order to focus and grow other areas. But the other piece that definitely makes this feel like a civilization game is the idea of the progression of time. Because in most Civ games, the point is that not only you're building this civilization, but you're building this civilization over time, and the progression means something. And that actually happens here in a variety of different ways. And the first main way that this is going to be happening is sort of the way that the game plays, the way that we take turns. Every turn we are either building something or adding districts to our city. And basically that means then we're putting another card out from the deck. But that means that slowly and slowly and slowly we're working towards the end of the game, and that is time progressing. But more than that, every time we put out a district, on the back of the next district card is some kind of event that's going to change up the way the game plays, or give me some kind of unique ability, or allow me to do something differently than I would have before. And this really aids in that idea of time passing, because as we enter each new age or in each new era, we're given some kind of new change in the world and the way that the world works. And it really does feel like you're progressing from age to age or from era to era, having different things trigger that cause your life to change in different ways, that make you think about things differently in how your civilization is building and how your civilization is growing. But then, on top of that, this progression of time, this idea of time changing and growing with your civilization, is doubly there in the sort of second core mechanism in this game. And that's sort of the way that your triggering actions in your tableau and just how you're building your tableau in general. Because if you just keep placing districts out next to each other in your town and just making your civilization bigger and bigger and bigger, nothing's happening because nothing's getting activated, nothing's getting triggered. The only way you activate or trigger things here is covering them with another card. So that then also shows the progression of time. There used to be a citizen here, but then that citizen was sent off on some mission and this happened. And now because that happened, I can build this thing. And there's definitely this sort of story that comes out as you're playing, right? I cut down the trees in the forest to get wood. So those trees aren't there anymore, but now I have the wood to build something else. So we definitely have this progression of things that happen later are sort of replacing and covering up the stuff that's happened in the past in order to get us resources, in order to get us citizens that are hired or that are, tasked with doing something for our civilization to improve our situation in some way, whether that means getting more resources, getting more money, giving us some special ability to work towards building something else. And this idea of sort of layering the future onto the past and building, physically building into the future, really does show very nicely the progression of time through a civilization. So with the combination of progression of time, this sort of resource management, and the physical building up of creating these wonders and growing this tableau, and then ultimately scoring based on what's left at the end. Sort of what has this civilization become? Does it make sense? Do all of the pieces of the civilization sort of gel in some way that makes it meaningful? And I really like the way that the scoring sort of, whether or not it fits, point for point with the theme, I don't know, but generally it makes sense with how things are scoring, how the civilization has built, and I'm pretty well impressed with how much civ building feel is in these 18 cards. And I look forward to expansions for this because I'm sure there will be, to add new districts, to add new wonders, to add new abilities. But more importantly, I have heard rumors, and probably more than rumors because I'm pretty sure they're in plans, of sort of variants of this game. Right now, as this exists, it's a solo game with basically a beat your own score system, which you're aiming for point thresholds at the end of the game. But I know that there's some, I believe it's called the Leaders expansion. They're going to be putting in sort of famous leaders through history that are going to introduce unique goals that you have to sort of achieve by the end of the game to complete or to win the game. And doing that is not only going to add more flavor to the theme, but it's also going to add in sort of endgame win conditions, which I always love to have in a solo game because I love to be able to say I won or I lost because I did what I was supposed to do or didn't. And a score threshold is fun, but it doesn't give me that same sort of sense of accomplishment of win and loss based on some set goal. So I'm very, very excited to see that variant. I also do want to mention here, I don't have any information about it except that I do know that there's a 2-player sort of variant mode that's also in the works for this too. So if you're looking for something that's not just solo, keep in mind that this will be slightly expanded, I believe, to allow this to be played by 2 players as well. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you did enjoy this game and you are interested in checking out a really cool 18-card Civ style game, click the link below for the Kickstarter campaign. As always, if you did enjoy my video as well, I ask that you please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.